Hills, hi. Welcome on. How are you? How was your Wednesday? How was your day? How was your day going? All that. You're all very fast, very first. I hope you're good. Gee, what you mean? It's Thursday. Did I? It is Thursday, but how was your Wednesday? Because yesterday was Wednesday, wasn't here, right? It's me, Sloth. Welcome on in. How are you? Who are you? How did you find the stream? Also, sorry for the ads. If you get the ads, I'm sorry. I really need to either. Yeah, either. Jackson, hi, welcome on in, welcome back. It's been a while. How are you? Sorry, your message was lost in. Okay, that needs to happen. Never gonna arrive so fast. I can't even spam the Discord in time now. You are all way too fast for me. So, not I mean, I am dying. It's me, Sloth. You said been lurking for a while, but just got notification and figured I'd pop in. I appreciate it. Well, if you want me to take a look at the design thing that you're putting your hair on, I would be happy to help. I would gladly help. I still haven't changed the fucking title. I forgot. It's fine. It still works, right? It's an okay thing. Okay. And Jackson, you said, good. Starting my portfolio class next week. Interesting. The last all of school. That's interesting. Of course, you can drop a Figma link. Of course. You can. So we have some news-ish type thingy that will happen during this stream, specifically in the next, I guess, 45 minutes. I should receive a call for delivery, and so there will be a small intermission in the middle, but it will be fine. But yeah, of course, if you, it's me, Sloth. If you want to share a link, please do so. And as long as you're okay with me sharing it on stream, on screen, then we good. Then we are good. There is no link restriction. You don't need like a permit or whatever. We trust people in here. Weirdly, that shouldn't happen, right? We shouldn't trust people, anyways. But I don't know. Take your time. Take your time. I kill that, and I've been deceived 3 times today. So I have ordered a lot of shit during the weekend and last week, and so everything is delivered like today or this week. And KGJ, hi, welcome on in, thank you for the potato. And everything is delivered like in this week. But I've received 5 to 6 message or text message this morning from DHL saying your delivery is today, and they had different tracking numbers, so I had different thing pop in, but I forgot what I had ordered. So I received Do I have it? Yeah, I have it. Well, is it here? I finally received these bitch ass expensive thing from the Apple. You probably know if you have like a Mac or something. This is the best thing that they have created in all their years, in my views. Since the beginning, we've had these plugs that just, you take your charger brick and then boom, this one is for the US and Japan, right? This is perfect. And then if I move to this one, boom, I'm ready for Korea and all that. So I received this today, which is exactly what I needed to have, because Jake, yes, I'm still in France, sadly, and Stony, hi, welcome on in. But at some point in the next week, we are expecting to receive news from the other side of the world, and potentially get not a permit, but like a thing that allows me to finally go. And so I'm just preparing. I've been cleaning up stuff. You can see that I have things on my bed behind me, organizing my backpack and all that to make sure that everything is clean and ready for the instant that they say we are opening borders starting this date. You know that the day prior I am on a plane, because right, time zone, all that. So right, these might, may, I don't know, happen soon. But the delivery that I have next, I hope, I don't know, but I hope, so I use these cases, which are amazing case overall, I love them. This one is for the 13, and now that I have the 14, I need a new one, which is fucking expensive every fucking time. But I hope that the delivery for now is this one, which is not. I didn't take. I don't even know if you can see that. It has. It's a fabric texture. This one, with a bit of splatter paint, fake splatter paint, but the new one is in walnut. So it's wood. It's a piece of wood in the back, which I think with time will get like an old bitches like this. When you touch them, you know, they start to get shiny and very well, I don't, shiny. So I'm hoping it will do something. But yeah, I would have loved for Apple to keep the same fucking design in between the 13 and the 14 to avoid that changing the case. But no, they decided to put like 1 millimeter more screen size on the new one, so you get a millimeter that just doesn't fit the case anymore. Anyways, first world problem, of course. Does that work? Yes, it does. How are our colors today? They seems okay. I feel like I'm still not great at all, specifically on my side. I've been doing a lot of research in my I mean, they don't get anything from. I mean, they do. No, you're right. They are not the case manufacturer, but they are the people who take a cut for the people who, like, they need to pay a patent on top of. So. Yeah. You're right. I mean, I'm still happy that these ones costed me €80 rather than 280. That's a steal, but also because of their sorry, that's too soon on the Figma file, because I'm like I had the 13, and because of the it's not a repair program, it's like the trading program, right? They give you some money back to you give them the old one, right? So basically I got like 700 euros cut on the new one, which basically makes the first one 700 euros less expensive, which is good, but still fucking expensive thing. I wouldn't I wouldn't, if I didn't have the need for knowing UI stuff and what other designers will do with the dynamic island and all that. Right, that's a lot. So sloth or sloss, depending on your name. You are saying I am relatively new to making detailed mockup behind just sketches and I struggle a lot with managing design system colors throughout the entire project. I struggle a lot with nesting components, specifically with colors. The outer layers cards feel fine, but then we get deeper inside and I get overwhelmed trying to figure out button colors when I'm 2, 3 or more layer nested with darker or lighter shades overlapping. That makes sense. It makes a bit of sense, but not exactly entirely. Let me read the message that you sent in chat. You said just one page right now, but I love your opinion. Yes, and need to figure out a way to let me edit fine. Yes, thank you for the edit thing. So let's see. let's see. Right now you say, let me just take a look at this from further away just to understand what that is. And so, if I understood correctly your top message, yes, I am able to edit. Thanks a lot for that. You said you are struggling with colors, basically, like any designer, so don't worry about it. Managing colors is one of the most complicated and simple thing at the same time. It's once you understand and it makes sense, but even me with like 16 years of design work overall, I think I figured out colors properly 4.5 years ago, maybe. So don't worry about it. It's like it is. Colors are. If you try to figure them out on your own, you will have a lot of issues, anyways, and it is very much complicated. So don't worry about it. It's a normal thing. Are you a dev by any chance? I recognize things that are very dev oriented. Yeah. This thing right here is, I do that as well. As we know we have a variable, let's curly bracket this shit, or just bracket it, then it makes sense. Yeah. Good on that. So that is a good thing to do. What would you like to know specifically on that section? I mean, you said struggle a lot with nesting components, specifically with colors. So are you talking about the colors of elements, right? You have a lighter gray and a dark gray. Is that the thing that you are struggling with, or was it something different? Skull, hi, welcome on in. Color balance is good. You have a lot of buttons that are competing with each other. So, Skull, how are you? How was your Wednesday? How was the rest of your week? Oh, we might have a thing. Give me a second. We don't. Yeah, we may have a delivery soon-ish. Good. So that's one thing. Jake, I think it could be just a button icon without collapse or expand. However, the fact that you added the text is a good thing for accessibility. So, right? That always can be a thing. And then your question is, the card being dark, title being lighter, then button even lighter, and inside the card it gets darker. Feels sort of wrong. Okay. So there is a thing with if you are in dark mode, specifically in dark mode, I would say it's one of the easiest thing to do, because in light mode you are most likely not going to use very dark grays, right? Dark grays. But in dark mode, the thing that you need to know, specifically because you are a dev, everything that is in the Z index, the higher the Z index it is, the lighter it needs to be. So right now you have your card title that is the highest position possible, and everything else is underneath. So what I would say in that specific card right here is potentially that section right in the center should probably be darker and keep that hierarchy of level or deep level thing. So if I were to do this and keep that as a base, right, I would potentially tell you that could be a thing, as in that way you have the level that is underneath because it's expanded, right? It goes under the title section, which is this is your title bar type thingy, and then this is the expanded section. So it could be helping to get that hierarchy of lightness with the same thing, meaning that when everything is collapsed, then you have that gray here and then that dark when it's opening. So dark mode is very hard, yes. There is also one thing that you need to know in terms of dark mode, light mode thing, but it depends on which, or will you have a light mode. If you don't have a light mode plan, then you don't give a shit about that. So tell me if you will have a light mode. Maybe it's like a fictional. You plan on it. Okay, good. So remember that anything that is the lightest in your light mode needs to stay the lightest in your dark mode. So reversed it. In that design here, you have, I'm taking your card as the example, you have that section at the top that is the lightest. It means that in the light mode, it needs to be the lightest possible. It's not just reversing the colors, because if you just invert colors, then you get something, but it's not exactly what you wanted to have. As in, let me see, can I do that? I think there is somewhere, but I always forget where it is. Here. right? If you do this, if you do this in light mode, then the hierarchy of information makes the center section more visible, basically, because they are light backgrounds, so they are drawn to you. Even so, that's just a reverted or inverted colors. It doesn't mean that it's the good way of doing it, but this shit thing right here in Mac is pretty useful. I just forgot. I know that there is like a shortcut to do it, but I always forget about it. Anyways, so here, right, you get the hierarchy of what is the most important is usually here, and then you go down one level, and then you go down another level. So that's why I would recommend you to expand darker. That way you can also focus the eyes into that section. And have you doodle? We'll call it. Thanks a lot for your first chat. Thanks a lot for following. I think yesterday, no, on Monday. Basically, yes, if you are in a gray 50, if you think that you start at 10 and you go to 100 and 15 this is the center point, your gray 50 is most likely not oh. Brutal, welcome on. Your gray 50 is most likely not gonna change. It's better to change it a bit because sometimes it doesn't really work, but right. Yeah, so you can think of it as this. That's something that I do from time to time, right? If you think of your page in a side view and that's your floor, then everything that you put on top of it, right, any element on the DOM is going to go above the thing, right? So if you have something else, then maybe it needs to be here, but it's above everything, okay? So that makes kind of sense. In your case, the expansion, like you have your card that is here, and then you have your sub divider section, and then on top of it you have your headers for the subsection inside, and then on top of these ones you have the main header of the page. So main header is this, and you have section that is this, and you have inside that is the darkest thing, then you have the entire background of the page that is here. So if you think about it in terms of DOM or in terms of the index, the highest point is the lightest point. And just because when you have things closer to the light, which is the eyes of the user most likely, they are brighter than the other things, even though they would have the same color as a base. That makes no sense. Let me rephrase. If you have two elements like my two hands, and I do this, right? They are basically the same color. If I do that, technically speaking, this one is lighter than this one, even though they have the same color, right? Just because this one is closer to the light. So basically the same thing. Right? That's the thing. Jake, because I didn't have an invite yet. People have maybe scammed me on giving them my email. I don't know. But if you have an invite, please share. Please share. I would love to have an invite. So there's that. First of all, you have some alignment issues. Sloth, and also brutal. I'm okay. I'm good. I'm a bit tired. I'm also a bit energized, and I'm waiting for delivery, which should. I've been like refreshing the page. Should arrive in like 4 people, so 30 minutes. 15 minutes, I don't know. So yeah. nope, that makes sense. It makes sense that you're trying to do that, but breaks a bit my alignments. And then you are building things without frames. I mean, you're building things with rectangle, which makes sense, right? You're building with divs, but it makes no sense in terms of placement. Anyways, the thing that I was about to say is you have inconsistencies in your alignment and also inconsistencies in the way that some things are displayed. For example, when I'm talking about inconsistencies, it is here, and I talk about that most of the time. You have 20 point right here, and you have 16 top and bottom. If you have an ad, tell me that you have an ad. If you don't have an ad, well, you can say something, but I don't want to rant about spacing if you're not here. No ads, good. So right now, right, you are at 16, 16, 20, and then in between you have like 20. That to me specifically doesn't make a lot of sense. I would have everything at like, so say 16 here, and so 16 here as well, so that way you have consistent spacing across your section. There is something else with radius, but we will go over that in a second. But that's the first thing, and then the second thing is you have some misalignment when it comes to your buttons. So that button here, which is the expand, uses the same icon. Maybe it's just because you don't have the icon yet, but using the same icon on the left, and then another button that is very much similar is using the same icon but on the right. So there are some inconsistencies in the understanding of what will do what. For example, I'm expecting personally that these two are expanding a menu, like a drop down or of any sort, right? Something like this, basically. But on this side, I'm basically expecting the same behavior-ish type of thing. So, right, that maybe it's how can I explain that? An icon issue where instead of getting this one, instead of getting this, because this is a chevron to expand, thank you, Jake, I would probably tell you to do something like this, even though it's not exactly right. I just quickly edit that fucking icon to make something that makes sense to me, right? So having like a drop down icon, this is a drop down icon compared to a chevron, makes it more obvious that this is a drop down, in which case I'm okay-ish with you having icons on the other side, but also it doesn't make the most sense. It's okay, but it doesn't make the most sense. I would say it's good to get like a system of how the buttons work and define that interactive buttons have their icon on the right side, for example, and buttons with informative icons have the icons on the left side. So for example, the repeat, the icon itself doesn't really do anything or give you a future state, so you don't really need to understand it, and so getting it here is fine. However, the drop down, you know that there will be something that happens because you have been conditioned in knowing that drop downs icons do something, and so you you expect them, so you put them on the right, or the opposite, right? Whichever, it's fine. So you said, so for the collapse expand, would you say buttons with no icon is better? No, I would say the opposite, button with no text. So potentially here, right, for collapse and expand, if you get rid of these, and let me just do that in a proper way with a 6/6 over everything, and knowing me, no need for no, I'm already happy that you use auto layout to start. That's something that doesn't happen often. I think if you just have this, right? Oh, the bottom one has auto layout. Interesting. If you just have this as your section, some people will understand that they have the ability to expand and collapse. However, expanding and collapsing elements, we will go on dribble just to check. I always know that dribble is not the place to look for things, but have a good tidying of your space. Brutal. Thanks a lot for lurking, I appreciate it. So there's 2Ds, right? Something like this. I never know how to 2Cs, accordions. Yeah, 2Cs. Hey, right. Yeah, I won't open Gmail on stream though. But I think what you're talking about is the same behavior as Figma, right? This thing at the top where the chevron is right there. I don't like that. That's expected for opening a drop down or opening like you can't see that, opening here. It's tiny because we are on the web-based version of Figma. But anyways, the accordion menus type thingy, right, could use the plus and minus. Plus and minus have been used for it, but also it is misleading if somewhere else in your app you are using the plus for adding stuff. So we don't like it, but we like it because it's clean. If you set it to unread first, oh yeah, that's true. That is true. I closed mail, so I can't say anything. But yeah, and there is also this pattern right here that is overly used, which has the chevron on the far right, the far opposite section or side, based on your elements. So, first of all, I think I will do that because otherwise I can't think if I'm not on Figma. So I think this is an option that is pretty okay. I think I would have the entire header clickable anyways, like as a base. That's a good thing, right? The fact that if you want, you can either click on the button that is here that will highlight when hovering, and also click on the header and then expand. And then if you click on selected or selective items like your drop downs here, you will have the drop downs. That makes sense. But I could I have a question about these things, the colored thing. Are they buttons or are they tags or labels? These are meant to be tags, okay. They look like buttons. So I thought this was a button earlier, so maybe that just threw me off. In order to get your tags to look like tags and not buttons, we usually recommend to make your tags smaller. So right here, first of all, you are using groups. Try to avoid that in the future. Groups are the enemy of your design files for that specific reason. If one day you need to resize your thing, that will happen. If you use a frame and you need to resize things, it's fine. It will just resize the frame, not the content. So please use frames, and then better off, use auto layout frames. That will be better for everyone, you included. So let's say this is a tag, right? My usual tags are 24 pixel in height. That doesn't mean it's the size that you need to have absolutely, but because your buttons right now are 30, I would recommend like one size down, so 24, 20 would be good. Say, okay, hi. Have a good blood test. And I guess thank you for the resub. No. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. We're still awaiting the announcement. Still awaiting the announcement. It will happen though. It will happen. What do you mean? I read the news. Does the news just happen and I haven't read it yet? Probably. If you're telling me that the news is that I can now go. If you have a news, please send it to me. Would love to see it. Yes, there is a big important. So the importance. The importance is. Let me see. Can I find my thing? Is that true? Give me a second. Delivery happening soon. Official? I mean, we've seen that official thing most of the time. It's okay, so I don't know. That's the thing that I'm scared about, because right. Okay, seems like a good news. Seems like a good news. We'll see. We'll see. I hope that it's stay true and that I have like a news from the immigration bureau. But yeah, thanks a lot for the news. Appreciate it. But Also, I think I need to go down, so give me like 5 minutes. I'll be back. You mean fuck? What you mean fuck? Sorry. It was that. It was the delivery. So okay. Got the package. Sorry. It's most interesting. Not interesting. I always forget there is one way to open it without killing things. I need to re-chat. Re-chat 100%. The fuck? These bitch-ass thing are the best packaging for cases that I know of. Look at that bitch. Look at that. This is so cute. And everything, like the stickers are paper stickers and they are very cute. 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 Sorry. I like cases. Ta-da! Look at that! Look at that! It's wood. It's a wooden case. And on the new one, they added a bit of rugged felt type of thing that we didn't have before. I won't put it on the phone yet because I need to clean the phone first. But yeah, that's neat. That is neat. And then the other thing is just screen protectors because, right, that makes sense. Anyways, read chat, dude, read chat. So, Sloth, you say, is there a big importance on when to do buttons with, which are fill borders, all that? Yes. The importance is the thing that I was looking at here, or trying to look at here, and I have this rule that I've planned out specifically for me, but it works. Right, it works for most of the button styles. So you have an importance level, and it's based, at least for me, triple fatty patty. Well, come on in. That is a nice name. I like that. We are speaking design in here. I hope you're good. I hope you're good. Well, come on in. So, right, if you have one button on the page, then you just use a solid because it's the most important action on the page. Usually, if you have two buttons, you can use a subtle button next to it, or a ghost button. Ghost button just don't have background.
Patty is now following.
Thanks a lot for the follow, I appreciate it. Ghost button have like no visual background, like the one that I did on the drop down. Basically, that's a ghost button. It doesn't have a background, but when you are hovering, you will probably have something like this on hover, right? A bit of a highlighted background while hovering. So that's the ghost button, and then you have the wire, which are the secondary thing. And if you have more than 4 buttons on the page, the most important needs to be solid, and then you go to wire or subtle. These two can be swapped in terms of importance. And yeah, the reason why this is on the left and on the right, it's because the wired buttons are more visible than the subtle buttons. And for reference, this is a solid button, this is a wire button, this is a subtle button, and these are ghost buttons. I hope that helps. Let me continue to read chat in order. And for tags, if you wanted to have tags that are not looking like buttons, you can easily just do this, and you have a tag that doesn't really look like a button, because you have nothing with these. That kind of works. Sassy, hi, all gone in. You arrived when I went away. And yes, finger crossed for me, Ruthel. I appreciate it. And yeah, I agree. I can only hope that they keep their word and that it wasn't just someone had heard something over something else. I don't know. I need more proof. I need more proof. And Sassy, the cases are moose or mouse cases. They are the most shockproof marketed shockproof cases that exist, and I just like the way that they look, so we do that. Yeah, they are MagSafe thingy, MagSafe compatible. The fuck is the other one? The packaging is good. Yeah, I kept it for a long time because it's, first of all, it's green, it's cardboard, and it's clean. Really good to put the spiders out of the house. Use that a lot. I use that a lot for spiders. And yeah, felt case inside. So, like the original that I have for the 13, right? This one, the inside was or is plastic. Solid plastic, just injected mold type of thing. The new one has this felt thing inside, which I guess protects the phone back a bit more than just straight up plastic. I think it's fun. I also like the addition, thing that you might not be able to see, but the buttons have tiny slits of openings, basically. You can see that on the back one right here, whereas the new case is purely closed. So that's interesting as well. And then what's new? The charging port is the same thing. It looks a bit more rugged inside. and it looks like we have ridges that we didn't have on this one. So that's interesting. But yeah, no, the most interesting thing is this one is wood, and I did want this one in wood the first time, but then I said felt. Fabric thing is interesting because it's less slippery, but right now this one is surprisingly good and flat. There's also a lot of design changes that they made in terms of the ridge for the phone bump camera is lowered right here. I don't know if that's visible on camera compared to this one, which is just all around the same thing. I don't really know if that will change anything in my use, but it could be. Could create something interesting as well. And TD, hi, welcome on in. How are you? How was your day? Yes, tiny incremental design changes and 1mm changes at the top. Bitch ass iPhone 14. Let's go back there. So for tags, Sloth, I would say if this is a tag as well, right, you can always put that in a circular format. However, if you do this looks like a button. So try to avoid weird ass shapes that looks like a button. I mean, there are a lot of shapes that are associated with buttons, and the usual thing is size define the clicking zone. So if something is 32 pixel in height, it's usually a button. If it's 40, 48, these are usually buttons height. So your eyes are used to see these types of things. You can see that the share button right here is if I remember correctly, it's like a 40 point. Not even, I think it's a 32. Anyways, we don't give a shit. So that's the thing. And so if you go with tags like this, then you get the feel that it's not a button. It's not like a rectangle with rounded corners. You could potentially swap things if that's a thing that you can do, right? So let's say you're using teal. You're using the Tailwind colors, so that's okay. It is a bit complicated because you have a lot of them. I mean, you have a lot of them, but that's just Tailwind. It makes sense, anyways. You could go with these, right, in dark mode specifically, where the background is blending with the background and just the text is visible. That's one option to make your tags less important, I'd say. But I would also say that these things are fucking important anyway, so maybe don't. And your icon right here, I mean, I can't really change shit on that one. Oh. That was the issue. Okay. You had like a frame in the, you had a group inside of it that broke my brain. So yeah, that's two different things that you can use, two different types of tags to make them less visible than the button itself. Right now, my eyes are directly, like the attention is grabbed on the color thing. So yeah, I know there is a lot of groups in there, and a lot of rectangle 32, all that. So, right, this would work to make it less visible, let's just do an auto layout frame for this, and let's get rid of that so that we have like something that makes sense. And lines, yeah, groups, lines, and all that. You also have things that makes no sense to me, but that's a me issue rather than a you issue. So don't worry about it. The thing that makes the most, or that has the most nonsense to me, is you are using auto layout for things, but you are also not using auto layout for a lot of things, which is fine, but also makes no sense. Let me just quickly, without explaining what the fuck I'm doing right now, do things that make sense. As in grouping stuff all together. Shit. My bad. It's not the time. I can't name my layers on a file that is not mine. I mean, I can name the layers, but it's not. But I can name the one that I create. Okay, fine. Have a good rest of your day. Of your day. Brutal. Thanks a lot for stopping by. I appreciate it. Take care of yourself. So, Kat, hi, welcome on in. How are you liking the stream deck so far? For the auto layout thing, you should. I mean, you probably already know that, but you have the ability to just use auto layout on everything. And as soon as you understand that auto layout is flexboxes, then you shouldn't even think about should I use or should I not use. Every time that you know that there is like either a display grid or display flex in your design or in your code, then you should be good and use an auto layout frame. So don't really, I don't think you need to worry about it. It's just use it everywhere and you should be good. Like I think when I understood, not really understood, like said to myself that Flexbox were like the base for auto layout, everything felt easier. So that can be a thing for you, I guess. Auto layout everything, right? That way you don't have weird surprises when you are creating like your design. You end up with the right amount of spacing and everyone is a happy person. I'm doing weird ass shit right now. So this, and this should be an auto layout frame overall with a spacing of 0. This one here should be at 0. We shouldn't really have a stroke unless just a stroke at the bottom. So that's something that I would recommend you to do, using the stroke lines things here rather than using dividers. That just makes more sense and it's way easier to use than other things. So you just have the entire Figma UI just flash. Okay. Right, so you can get these. easily. This one seems to have also, I don't understand that, but okay. And I guess the last thing is the padding at the bottom, which you had like 32 or something. Right. Yeah, I have tried the new props. I haven't tried the new props thing. I have toggled the beta feeders thingy, but yeah. Ismail, hi, welcome on in. How are you? How was your day? So I feel like we need to have the same property on this as well, as in bottom thing, that we will wrap everything around. And then the thing that I did, which you probably can't see for real, this section at the top, which is the title. Denny, hi, welcome on in, how are you? I'm good. Thanks for asking. And it is the day, as in Sakei gave me the information that Japan said that they will finally open in 3 weeks. So that's good. That is good. And of course you can ask a technical question. Of course. And finally, yeah, I mean, we'll see if things happen, but I've been resentful of Japan announcing shit. Nishit, hi, welcome on in. But yeah. Anyways, so these sections, right, makes a bit of sense to me. I guess yes, but I don't know. I also hate Webflow for that fucking redirection thingy. It's just, please let me just check your homepage. You were saying the creative power. Creative power? You mean these? Yeah, that's a very easy thing to do. I mean, you just need to have component properties and component variant. One component variant with this, and then on hover, the color, on click, it expands and you have the animation. And then the thing is, now if you place them inside of an auto layout frame and you define that it does some changes, like automatically, that's an easy thing to do. However, you can't do if you click here, it collapses the other one. That's the only thing that you can't do unless you do like 4 frames, which is fine. It's an option, but if you know that you will always have 4, I would create one with this. Genie, hi, welcome on in. One with this component with like default state, open state as the main component, and then a secondary component thing with a lot of things. What do you mean new OBS updates? Yes, if you have used OBS, do not update to 28. It's a bit not good. But yeah, Ismail, we can take a look at that later if you want to. It's a very easy thing to create overall. You just do that for now. And I have something, and then let's place that. But yeah, the OBS update kill everything. Have a good lunch, Kane. Have a good lunch. So let's keep that here. I know that the color is this. It will be on top of this, and then we have the opening. Yeah, that's okay. That's fine. So sloth. Sorry. That's good. That's good. Here I would probably say you need a frame rather than, oops. You also, that's the thing, you can't have radius on groups, like it doesn't work, so it's a bit annoying. And oh, this is a great example. So let me just. Oh, and you added thing. You said that earlier, and I didn't scroll. I'm sorry. Here you have a thing that is really interesting to me. So the way that you built your drop-down elements is you have a rectangle with a style that you applied. Or you have a rectangle to which you apply the style, and then on top of these things you added groups with content which have a rectangle for the background and then text on top of it. That's what you did. If you think about it in terms of dev and HTML and CSS based, like very basic stuff, you wouldn't create a rectangle and then text like a P thing. You would just do a div with a P inside. And so basically if you get your brain to say a frame is a div, it's not exactly true, but it helps. If you say to your brain a frame is a div, then when you have your frame here, you can say, well, that style that I added to my rectangle, I can just have it to to the frame itself, right? And so right now, if I get rid of that rectangle here, I have my frame them itself that has the feel that I want it to have. So technically it's not the same thing. And then here I have 28, which is weird, but fine. If I do that in an auto layout format, I can just have this. And let's say I have 24 everywhere. And so same thing for the outer section, right? So I can take my frame 60 right here and get rid of the rectangle. I have the same design. And then let's do like an auto layout frame for everything. Duplicate this one, call that delete list. Not get rid of that yet. And now get rid of that. And that way I have a more dev related thing. Specifically, you can't really see that because right in the layer list I have my frame, which would be my menu, and then inside of it I have a frame 44 and a frame 45, which are just my options basically. And in these I have so the other P thing, right? So your option might be like a div as well, but right, that's the base structure that I would use. I would also say specifically, but that's a me thing, you have like 10 top and bottom, which I would do 8 because, right, I am OCD at this point. But also for specifics, and you decide if that's something that you would want to do, but you can have these two to be auto layouted inside, and then put these to 8 and put these with 4 potentially, right? And you get like a very cute designed drop down list. I don't know, just a design choice. And then if you do that, why have 24 on the side? You can just do this and you're good. Have a good time, and I hope you can eat later. The blood sucking thing. So, right, this makes more sense to me if you have like a section at the top compared to the thing that we have here. If we were to compare both of these, they both work, right? I can't tell you like mine is better than the thing that you created, right? It's this is a thing that is used often on a lot of websites that I've seen. It's just that it's a personal choice where I don't really like that specific type of design. I've seen chat messages that I haven't answered. Kat, you said your webcam stopped working. That's sad. And Nishit, yes. So if for frame with clipping effect, which right now we haven't talked about yet, but clipping frames, if you have a border on the inside of your frame, if it's non-clipping, the content will go on top of the border. If you make it clip, then the border will go on top of everything. And same thing for the shadows. If you have a negative spread or positive spread on your shadows, then the non-clipping frame will have no will to follow the negative spread, and if you have a clipping frame, then you have the negative spread that is taken care or into account, which is a weird thing. I don't really know why that's a thing, but I mean it works, so we're okay with that. And yeah. You say you haven't really figured out the exact style look you want. That's good. You don't need to know everything first when you start a design project. However, it's better to do so, to define your design system, style guide, overall thing before you start doing any weird ass decision making things. But yeah, please, Danny, share the link either in here or in Discord, whichever place you want. So what did you say here? In regards to the buttons on the header bar, I try to find a color that works fine on the outer layer and inner one for all states. Yes, but it would be fine to change the color of the inner one to look better based on the background it's on, instead of trying to force one color with multiple backgrounds. So this is where some bases of not typography, but like color systems go into effect. As in, oh, that's a AI generated thing. Yeah, interesting. They basically gave the same prompt 26 times with the different letters every time. So they said like the letter A in a bubbly thing. Interesting. Soap bubble typography concept, yeah. That's pretty interesting. That's pretty good. I'm still not entirely sure about my point of view on AI generated creation. I think it's good, but still have a lot of, I mean, I still want the artist, and I'm air quoting it because right now for me there is no real art done on most of these things. I still expect the artist to spend like a good amount of time after the fact polishing and like making sure that the art that is coming out of the AI thing clean and good. However, these seems very out of the AI system directly, so I don't know. I think it's good to get a base, but it's not good if you just plug the thing, because right now they just, I mean, for me, like they basically just said soap bubble, letter O, and press enter. And then they change and they say letter Q, and then they press enter, and then letter P. You know, all that. So, yeah. But it's fun. I like it. I like the colors. I like the colors. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, I think it's good. I think the AI thing is good if you take it as, let's say you don't have any idea of, if you're an artist that creates illustration for clients, for example, and you don't have any fucking idea how to create like an eerie castle in the sky city type landscape in the background for your characters, then you can use the AI to just like plug the prompt and then see how the things is generated and get it as an inspiration, and then work based on that to create something that is inspired by but not the AI thing. You can just use it, trace over it, create something, and then that's yours. But if you just do the prompt and then get the render directly and you use that, I think it's not that good. Anyways, so you are saying, would there be an option to create something that would work whichever way? And there is. There is an option to potentially have our sections to be a certain way without, how can I explain that? Without having to apply a solid color as an option. So this will, and I need to duplicate that section just to make, what did I say? Duplicate that section to just work with it. The way that you achieve something like this is by defining your fill color to something that is identical. And let's say you have everything in white, and everything in white at, I don't know, 4%, for example. So you get everything, and then maybe the top section, because you want it to be lighter than the rest, you place it at like 12% of white opacity, and because this one needs to be darker, you place it at 0% opacity. And that way, if at some point you need to have a background color for that specific card to be, I don't know, let's say it needs to be a dark blue, then you have your same hierarchy that works. If you have a theme that's pink or purple, it still get this thing. Maybe what I said right now at 12 is not good enough, so you need something like more 20, and then these ones needs to be at like, I don't know, 16, or maybe just these ones need to be at 12 to really much have the separation with the rest. That could be a thing, right? And maybe you just need that, and that way you get the option to easily have theme changing if you stay in the same amount of lightness at the bottom, right? You can easily switch themes and have your hierarchy of information kept, which means it's the same thing for buttons, but I wanted to talk about that a bit later. Right, let's say you had like a very stone green moss type of dark mode, then it works. So using opacities for certain types of background can help. It also may be very useful because you just need to manage the opacity of the color and not a solid color. However, it is prone to a lot of mistakes because devs in the inspector will click on something and will see, if you are like in Xcode, will see FFF and say, oh, it's white, and then potentially not tell or check that it's like 12% opacity. And they can see that this one is at 20, so they will say, okay, so this one is at 12, and then so dev might have some issues with that. But yeah, using opacity, so if you missed a few minutes, the last few minutes, using opacity as your background for things may help to give you the ability to have different themes, different colors, different things easily, rather than what we have today, right? If you are on pure black, you get something that works, or something like this, right? Did it ever make sense to make buttons different colors if they have very different backgrounds? So it's better to keep the button the same style across the platform. However, it's better to get the buttons to like be exactly the same throughout the platform. So if one, like in one space it is this color, and then in another space it is this color, then that doesn't, I mean, it makes sense, but it also doesn't make sense. If these are your primaries, that doesn't work. So I wouldn't recommend it. However, if everywhere they are this color, then I'm fine with it. And if it changes depending on the theme, then that makes sense, right? Making sure that the accessibility is good. Robin Spy, hi, welcome on in. How are you? I would say it makes sense, but I mean, it could make sense to have like a bit of switching things here and there to make sure that things make sense and are accessible. Speaking about accessibility, this, you have these in highlighted. I wouldn't even bother. Personally, I would just have them in outlines rather than having like a color. So if you do that, if you get rid of the background color of your buttons, they will just take the background of the space that they are on, and as long as the contrast ratio passes, you're good. And that way, as we just said, right, they will visually have different colors, but people do understand that they are just wired button, in which case the color goes through. Specifically, if at some point, let's do a weird ass thing right here. If at some point you have something that is this as your background, that is absolutely not a thing that I would recommend, but right, you can understand that this is a button that has, which is just a wired button, and it makes sense. It's okay. And if you want to push things out with design and other shit, you can give it like a bit of a background blur. Get a very Apple-like iOS 7, iOS 6 type of effect. Right, things like this. Don't do that. Don't do that. Reset the background though. Okay. How do you gauge the importance of a button? Would you do it per page or per component? Like in this case, the add options aren't necessarily the most important buttons, but they are also some of the only one on the page. In that regard, they'd be more likely to be used. So the rule is very simple. The most important action that needs to be done on the page level, at least for me, is the thing that you want to highlight. So if the most important thing on that page right here is the access to settings, for example, I would have my settings in full blast color, whichever is your design. But let's say we do my usual thing, which won't really match with what you have, but right, this is the thing that I would have if I know that settings is the thing that I want the people to click on 100%. If that's not the case, then I will keep settings like in a subtle thing, not exactly visible, and all that. You can also have things that are not, or pages specifically, that don't really have a primary action to begin with. You can just have like a page with a lot of actions, but none of them are primary. They are all at the same level of importance, and there is nothing that is more important than something else, and there is nothing that is less important than something else. In this case, I would have the least noise-making buttons possible across everything. So for me, the least noise-making buttons are the subtle or the ghost, which is similar to, like, your wires right here are very subtle. but I would have these way cleaner even, so without even bothering myself with the outlines, and just, I'm saying just again, just get like the background at 10% or something like this when you are hovering the thing, just to tell like the user that they are about to do something. So this one, for example, is clicked, so it would be like 20%, and this one then, because it doesn't have any hover, right? That would be the case that I would have, most likely, knowing myself. I would have something like this to just have the cleanest, the least amount of noise possible is always my go-to, that was weird. And if this is the same thing, right, I want the badges to be as muted as possible, to be the least distracting. But yeah, turns out that I wasn't sure if that was a bad idea from accessibility standpoint, since they may not stand out as much, but I'm not sure. So it's not a wrong assumption to say that you need to have things that stand out. The thing that you did with the wire button was a good idea. It makes sure that the user will see Aiden. Hi. The user will see directly where things are placed. And so, for example, right, the difference between the chevron on the left side and the buttons are more important than the chevron in a way, but also when you collapse the section, isn't the chevron the more important thing, because you need to expand? So, right, there are things like this that you could potentially just have depending on the state of the element. It's not exactly recommended to change the importance of a button based on its parent state, but it can work. It can work. It's not a bad thing either. So you could do it as well. It's an okay thing. But yeah, and then for example here, I would say on this one, the add item may be, at least for me, the important thing. So like, I know it's not exactly what you would do, but if I know that the thing that I want to do when I have the checklist open is to add an item, I would just bright ass the add items. That's the thing that I want the user to do when they open that thing. However, when that thing is collapsed, well, it doesn't bother me because it's not open. So you could do that. Right now, what's bothering me is the tags are very much visible. It will still be fine if you can't have like 50 of them open, right? So let's see, get these. Now if you have everything open at once, is it distracting? First of all, yes, a bit. Will you see this? Absolutely not. So your frame right now is at 1920 by 1300, which means that technically speaking, your monitor is usually like 1000 pixel high for the Chrome browser if you have it in full screen, because of everything that you have at the top. So if you have this, first of all, right, let's test it out. Let's clip that. Let's make I'm zoomed in. Let's make that scrolling, and that's it. That's it. Let's see if it's bothering me. Alright, so that's the page in full screen. And so if I'm looking at things, the maximum green button that I can have in one scroll is basically 3 or 3.5, maybe. No, it's 3. Most likely I will have 2 at the same time if I open more than one section at once. The likelihood of the user to open everything is close to 0. They will probably just open something, do the thing that they need to do, and then scroll to the next section, open something, right, and then have other things. So when you look here, right, I just opened this first section and nothing else is open. I have no issue with just this one being visible. Settings is still extremely visible because we didn't change the style of it, but that's the thing, right? So it's I don't think it would be like bothering me. However, it is very bright, so maybe just say maybe the bright button that we have here could, as you did earlier, could be a reverted thing with this, for example. So they are still visible with a bit of color, but we use an outline version of them to just highlight things, right? So that could be a thing to limit the amount of noise on the page. That's option number 1. Option number 2 would be to use one of your grays as you had before, and if you do that, you get, for you slate for everything, you get something that is still understood as the main button, but for me it's not as visible. So right here I would probably do a subtle button, and so subtle would be somehow like this. So it's still here, and that's where your tags at the top just fucks with me. But it's a subtle thing. It has one of the dark section of your color palettes as the background, and the text is in the lightest of that same color. So that way, even though we have the color and the button visible as a button, it's still muted-ish on the page. I would do that. I would probably do that. Let me see, can I revert things? The tags are right here. If your 0 out of 4 is a tag based on the completion of the list that is underneath, L trademark, what can I? Yes, but it's I would say it's a difficult thing to apply when you only have one page. The 60-30-10, so for anyone who doesn't know, the 60-30-10 rule is you have one color that is 60% of your page, which usually is either black or white, depending on the theme that you are on. So for you, it will be black, and then you have 30% of your elements that have another muted-ish color, and then you have 10% that have the accent color. So usually for me, for example, it's that bright ass green that just pop in everywhere. That limits the ability of you as the dev and you as the designer to make mistakes. Specifically, right, when we limit ourselves with the colors that we have available, we cannot move through or create issues later. So for example, on my personal style guide things, the colors that I have are limited to 5 values. We have the 50 or the 500 in the center, that is our base most of the time, and then we have 2 shades darker and 2 tints lighter. Light is to help when you have hover or subtle buttons, because we are on the light theme for everything. Then dark is for clicks and accessibility of other behavior here and there. It's a bit specific. Anyways, I have limited myself to these to avoid having too many different colors and having to think about how to apply the colors on that page, all that. So in here, if you wanted to limit the amount of color used, I could really easily see that with the your highlighted background thingy on everything, like this one potentially, but you can also use the shades, I mean the entire swatch. It can work, it can work. It doesn't have a big impact specifically here, right? You just have one accent color. So if your accent color is your blue button, I would say that you need to have blue somewhere in there as well. Using, as I said, using the Tailwind colors is a good thing. Did you create manually the entirety of the colors of Tailwind, or did you use a plugin to do that? Because you're scaring me right now. Okay, good. For a second I was like, not a good idea. I will give you this as a, for anyone, to take a look at this amazing plugin, Super Palette, which is currently, I mean not currently, but has at that instant finally been updated to V2. I mean finally, not exactly, but finally. And this is giving you, so you wanted the Tailwind colors, and so they have the Tailwind colors here. And I don't understand how Figma is just changing colors. Anyways, you have the Tailwind colors that are here for you, and you can just click this and say create a system style, or insert a guide, or export the palette, or whatever. And so if I were to click on that, it will just recreate that same thing immediately. The benefits of Super Palette compared to the other ones is you have more than just Tailwind in there, and some of them are huge, right? Like Radix have 114 colors, or different colors. Tailwind is like just 22, so 22 is a huge thing. But the benefits of Radix, and why I'm recommending it from time to time, is these things right here. So as you can probably see, or not see, I don't really know how it's visible with that fucking effect on my screen. I have the tomato dark, tomato light, tomato dark alpha, tomato light alpha. And so these things, it's paid, but not, I mean, it's worth it. Yeah, it's worth it. I can't, it is. I saw the thing, I said, oh, it's a lifetime subscription, so better buy the lifetime now before they go to a monthly thing. So yeah, but the benefits of this, right? You get the colors for dark mode, you get the colors for light mode, you get the colors for the alpha, and you get the colors for the alpha in light mode and dark mode as well with Radix, which is why I love them. So similarly to what I said earlier, right? Using some of the colors in opacities, it is already made for you in their version of things. So that is the good news. That is the good news. But yeah, no, Radix is great. Everything else is great. So I love Super Palette. Trying to prepare for portfolio presentation for an interview just thought I shouldn't put all of my work in there, but maybe just the base 3. You probably know, Daddy, already my thought. As me, as a hiring manager for designers, I cannot be bothered by the content of your portfolio. So I need to have an interesting conversation with you and understand how you work. That's it. So, I mean, and make sure that you will have the ability to learn the thing that I will give you, or for you to teach me things that I don't know. And usually if we have a conversation, I know that. However, most hiring managers are not like this for some reason. I don't understand it, but yeah, right? They are not like this. So the role is the 3 to 5 most impactful projects. My reasoning behind the portfolio that I have is the least amount of content inside of the portfolio to be able to talk about the project rather than write about the project. Because first of all, I can't fucking write. I'm bad at it, so I know that. I prefer to talk about stuff. So if I know that I have the ability to just say, well, I work for this company, we did this. And then if the hiring manager is telling me, can you tell me a bit more about that? I can expand on the subject, I can expand on the project, say what I did, what I didn't do, what I did well, what I didn't do well, because that's also important. But, right, make sure that you have enough to showcase, but also not too much to overwhelm the hiring manager. So that's why we say 3 to 5, 3 being the best option, because it's like it shows to the person in front of you that you are confident in your skills and you don't try to fill the portfolio with a lot of things, right? If you have 10 projects in your portfolio, then it's a bit much. It tells me that you have been working on a lot of things. Yes, that is true, but also it tells me that you may have had not good experience or expertise on all the things that you have made, right? You may have 110 projects completed, but if 110 have bad completion, right? So, I don't know. Would you mind giving my opinion based on my experience? What do you mean? Would you mind giving my opinion based on my experience? Oh, you mean my experience, my opinion of you based on your experience? Oh, if you gave your opinion, yes, of course. So I would limit the amount of content, but I will also showcase the most complete projects potentially. So, like, if you know that you have a project in which you have done a ton of stuff, just say that you have done a ton of stuff, but do not showcase the ton of stuff that you have done. I would want to have the discussion with you of understanding why you came up with this solution rather than having to read the thing during the meeting. So, I don't know. Fine. Give me a second. getting used to me. I basically just did that on the way in, but okay, let's do that again. But yeah, what Kane is saying is basically the same thing. As long as you have things to talk about, I think you should be good. So limit the amount of content that you showcase, but don't limit the amount of content that you can talk about. That's basically the thing that I would recommend. And make sure that the thing that you're showcasing is potentially accessible. I mean, if that's an option, I don't know if that is, but if that's an option, if you have projects that are shipped and that you can showcase as, for example, let me just take a look. As in, right, the first, you can't see shit, but the first thing at the top right here is an app that I designed in 2015. Yes, in 2015. It's there, it's available. They haven't changed the design since. And if, right, in my portfolio, this is in there, and the hiring manager, if they want to go check it out, download the thing and see how it works, they can. So if you have the ability to like showcase projects that exist and have been shipped, then yeah, do that. That's one of the best things. I personally think that, right, showcasing real life project rather than fake thing that are just Behance project dribble shots, thing that never existed. Yeah. So yeah, that's why we recommend 3. Also, you said that you have 4 projects, but it's too long. I remember. I think it was Chris Doe that said something like, in his portfolio at some point he only had 1 project and nothing else, and he said, my brain is telling me that it wasn't Chris, but similar. Someone said at some point in his career they only had 1 project in their portfolio, and it was the latest project, whichever outcome happened on that project. Meaning that if the project failed, it was in the portfolio. If the project succeeded, it was in the portfolio as the latest project. And that was very interesting to me, because you could define that your portfolio is your latest work, and that's the best way to see where you at in your design career. So you showcase your latest work, which is, right, also going back to the reason why I hate portfolios, and I think they are dumb and they shouldn't exist, is everything that I have, as I said, right, the Foxy thing that I just showcased is an app that I built in 2014, shipped in 2015. We are in 2022. If since then I didn't, or I haven't upgraded my skills and the way that I'm thinking, I'm not good. So it's a bit bad, right, to showcase things that are outdated. But yeah. For dev portfolio, I don't know if I have any tips for dev's portfolio. I would say the it is similar. However, I think the technical aspect is more important on a dev portfolio rather than a designer portfolio, right? A designer could make a portfolio that looks amazing and is extremely pleasing to look at, But then the code behind it is trash. However, when you have someone who is creating a portfolio as a dev, a front-end dev, and the thing is just amazingly built, then it showcases your skills without even having to say anything. The one that comes to mind right now is Big Sur, which is just amazing. So if you haven't seen that, Big Sur or big-sur.com is a project of recreating macOS in, I think it was in JS or in React, I forgot. I said in JS, in React. And Trash made that, Trash Dev, and this is just amazing, right? You can go into your folders, you can go into the weird ass thing that they do. You have like a browser that can bring you to things. It's just amazing in terms of the technicality of things. This is great. You have all their shit right here, which I can't fucking use because I'm the dumbass. But it's really interesting and it's impressive. So, right? If that's a thing that you have the ability to do, then yeah, I don't know. Do that. The technical thing around it, right, from Trash is just amazing, and so I would recommend anyone who is looking for, if Trash was looking for a job, which is not the case, but if I knew that he was looking for a job and I had someone in the same pay range around me, I would recommend Trash immediately because I know how good they are. So because of the portfolio itself being such an impressive technical thing, I think for dev it makes sense. However, I can create the thing that is the most beautiful thing. It will be beautiful for me. Maybe you think it looks like shit. That's subjective. Technicality of things, it is very, very, very unbiased. Like, you can't say it's trash in terms of technicality. If it's good, if you inspect the code, and if the code is good, and if everything seems to work and it makes sense and all that, if the thing is clean, you can't deny the fact that that person has the creative brain to do the thing that you want to have, but also the technical skills to recreate something as complex as macOS, even though it's just like the home page, right? But it at least for me, it makes sense to create something technical as a front-end dev portfolio, and then as a designer, it's just like a pitch.com PowerPoint type of thing, and that's it. You don't need more. Also, you don't need to, like, I mean, really depends on which types of design job you're looking for, but if it's UI first, you don't really need the technical, and even then, if you can showcase that your project that you are presenting are good, I don't know, weird. So another did I share that on? I probably shared that somewhere, probably in there, somewhere in there. Nishit, you sent me a message. Can I show that in on stream? Oh, and Genie, I can see you just made the OBS 28. So everything is broken now. Sarah, I guess. Sarah. This is front-end engineer dev portfolio. I am biased. I can't deny it. I'm extremely biased when it comes to this one because I know the designer behind it. But this one is one of the best dev and also designer portfolio that I've seen in a long time. We have some issues with the color of things right now because of how my computer is behaving lately. But this is a very simple design. It's clean, it works, and there is a lot of content. And the reason why this is good-ish is because goodish to have as much content is because this is a website and most of the contents are articles, videos, podcasts, things that you can consume differently, and overall it's interesting, but the main projects are here and you can click on it and you go to the GitHub. So as always, right, the portfolio in itself isn't containing anything. It's just links or shiny links to go outside of that web page. Nothing is like inside of here. It's just you click here, you go on YouTube. All that. So I would recommend you to take a look at this. Always good. Always good. Sarah is always good. It is a huge, good-looking link tree. Yes, exactly. Nothing more. Nothing more. So yeah. In terms of, welcome back, Aiden. In terms of this page, I would probably say getting rid of Eggy. Hi. She's good. She has been great. Can't deny that. Can't deny that. I would say this would need to be shit. I'll do that. Let's use one of these, potentially darker, right? Want that to be so. Yeah, Twitch suck way more now, but I don't give a shit because I'm still a small people on Twitch, so that doesn't affect me in any way, shape, or form. Anyways, and if you really read the blog post and you think that it's how can I say that it's a real pay cut, you are right in a way, but also they said for the people who have, so for the partners, let's talk about the Twitch thing. For the partners right now that have the 70-30 split of revenue, so 70% goes to the creator and 30% goes to Twitch, right? They are saying that because there is this injustice in a way, or inequality in between the top partners and some other partners that don't have the 70-30 split, and the affiliate, then they will just get rid of the 70-30 split. However, they absolutely will not get rid of the 70-30 split. They get rid of the 70-30 split after you have earned more than 100k per month. So on your monthly payment, you have 100k at 70-30 split, and then on everything that is above 100k on your month, you get the 50-50 split. So you still have the ability to get the 70-30 split with no issues. And I mean, if you get 100k per month, I don't think that getting a 50% task, a 50% cut on everything above 100, I mean, like, let's say you make 110, that just means that in reality you will make 105, because the 10 will be cut by 2, basically. Well, I mean, there is a 30%, like, no, you will get like 70 and then 5, so you will get 75 instead of 105, when in reality before that you will have made 75. I mean 70 something, which is the same basically. So I don't know, it doesn't make any sense to me. It's just, yeah, it's still cut, but I mean, if you live on a 100 per month, 100k per month, I mean, I'm not there yet. I'm still at like 200 every 3 months. So not 200k, just 200 euros every 3 months. So I'm far from it, much far from it. Not yet, indeed not yet, but still. Not very good. Not very good. Why am I in not slate? So oh shit, you have a habit of making groups on everything, which is not so good. Also, thing that you might see right here, I have a group with a frame, text layer, and the rectangle as the background. If I do the Shift A to create an auto layout frame, you will see that my rectangle at the bottom just goes away, and it is automatically applied as a style on the frame, on the parent frame. So that's good. 5 ads, nice. And yeah, Aiden, I think that would be better. I've been thinking about it. I don't want to move to YouTube, but we might have to at some point anyways, so I don't know. I don't know what that is. I think it's better, to be honest. I think it's a better move for everyone right now that is starting to just move. Yeah, but what's your goal? Is your goal to be to create a stream that is successful, or is your goal to like get behind what Kalia is doing? Because I mean, depending on what you want to do, right? You can do both. I don't know. It always feels different, and I would say, difficult to just say, well, I know that you're trying to do your best on your end and all that, but if you want to have fun and create a stream that is interesting and like watched, because that's the main goal, then you may need to do the thing that is the most beneficial for you, right? I mean, I get it. My thing right now, let me be loud and clear. My thing right now, for people who want to start streaming, I am 100% recommending you to start on YouTube. Even though, even for me, I've been thinking about basically putting the work that I've put in here to the trash and all that, keeping the community that we have, and then migrating probably like 15% of the audience to YouTube immediately. It will be harder for me to like grow again a second time. So if you have no one in your followers, meaning under 500 people following you, then I would just recommend you to move to YouTube now and just do a thing where when you are live on YouTube, you are live at the same time on Twitch, but the thing that you are streaming to Twitch is I am currently live to YouTube, right? So the people who have seen you how can I say that? The people who have seen you and have followed you and know that your schedule happened, like today I'm streaming, when they go to your channel, they arrive here and they are like, well, it's not simulcast, that's the thing. If you do what I'm saying, it's not simulcast. You have one OBS instance that is just streaming a video of a text saying, I am now live on YouTube, and you have a link, and that's it. So there is nothing based on your face, the content. Right now, I don't have the ability to start
ITSMESLOF just subscribed.
For the sub, I appreciate it. If you have more questions, feel free to ask. If you are not here, then I will not stay on the file and move things out, because I don't want to say things that it would be important for you yet. But yeah, do not hesitate to send me like a message on Discord if you want to have more specific question, or come back as always. Thanks a lot for the sub, I appreciate it. Highly appreciate it. So, right, I think, Aiden, the streaming on YouTube and Twitch at the same time, so not simulcasting, Aggie, but like two different instances of streams at the same time makes a lot of sense, as in to migrate the entirety of the people that you have on Twitch to YouTube. I think that will be my move if it happens at some point. We'll see. Probably. I don't know. Anyways, this is not simulcasting. However, I cannot, as I was about to say, I cannot start a stream on YouTube at the same time with the same camera angle, the same content, the same sounds, the same thing. That doesn't exist. However, if I had, like, let's say I'm streaming on YouTube and I'm not like an affiliate on Twitch, then I can easily switch and simulcast to Twitch. By the way, Aiden, are you an affiliate? I don't think you are an affiliate. yet, because if that's the case, you can simulcast. You can stream on both platforms at the same time, just to check. Yeah. So, I mean, and if you try to stretch yourself thin, as we say, right, with two platforms and trying to grow through two platforms at the same time, you will probably not grow any of them. Like, it would be harder for you to concentrate. I mean, you will probably concentrate on one subconsciously, and so one of them will grow. So I wouldn't even recommend you to do like 2 days on YouTube and 2 days on Twitch. I would recommend you to define that you want to stream 4 days a week and go 4 days on YouTube or 4 days on Twitch, but not half and half. That's still not so good, unless, and I said that before, but unless you are 100% sure that you have the ability to do Twitch streams with a very specific type of content and YouTube stream with a very different type of content, and no overlapping in between the two, other than it's you on both sides. But if you can do that, right, like let's say you have Twitch gaming streams and YouTube coding streams, then you can easily do like Monday Twitch, Tuesday YouTube, Thursday Twitch, Friday YouTube. And so that way it's okay to be on both platforms because you have very different contents. And so you can potentially say, when you're on Twitch, you say, well, I'm streaming on YouTube for code. And when you're on YouTube streaming, you can say, well, I'm streaming on Twitch for gaming, which makes more sense. So if you can do that and if you can achieve this, that would be great, I think. But also difficult to pull off. It could be good. As I just said, you could do just that and just flip the ID and really define content on one and content on the other. Yeah, I think. Ismail, are you still here? Lurking, I don't know. I'm looking at the Webflow carousel thingy that we talked about earlier. But anyway, I think the news of Twitch cutting for partners is like not, shouldn't be taken into consideration at their level. I think it's not even a thing at this point. Like it doesn't cut anything for real. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean you can. It's not impossible. It is not impossible. It's just it might be a lot of work to make sure that you have something that makes sense, that people that want to watch you specifically. You can also have something based on the, how can I say that? Something based on the content that you're doing. As I was saying, right, you get 40 based. It's not even centered. Sorry, that's just threw me off. Like the thing that I've seen as well on Twitter as well. So I don't know if it's true data, which is the hack of streaming on TikTok and Twitch at the same time, because this is allowed by Twitch officially. So really easy to just get that going. The thing that they did was getting TikTok streams at the same time and getting the comments on TikTok disabled. And so what that does is it pushes the people who are watching on TikTok to Twitch directly, which is interesting. Which is an interesting concept. Thank you. And so that forces them to just go through and then just watch you there. And then just watch you there. So default, right? It's default. Let's call that. Let's create this. Let's call that hover. And so the hover is basically, what is this? Shit. Sorry. It's me just. Hover is you taking this basically. It's not the right color, but it's fine. And then you get the same thing, but you have these two drop down paragraph inside of him. So that means that this needs to be in a frame. It seems promising, that's the thing. It seemed very promising to get TikTok stream at the same time. But I don't know, it feels weird to just have my phone pointed at my chin, or my lack of chin, and just speak about things without really giving any attention to the TikTok stream. It feels very weird to me. But maybe I'm wrong, right? Maybe I'm just old and I don't know. Probably that. It's probably that. I guess it's a 40 on both sides anyways. That would make sense. And then Goofy, hi. Welcome on in. How are you? How is you? Shit. I don't think that will work. Maybe. Have a good dinner time. It will have the VODs anyways, so yeah. Can do that. Did you get, I mean, did you did good? So you say did great, good. That's what we want to hear. That is what we want to hear. And also, Ismail, I will go over what I did when I'm done, if I achieve the thing that I want to do. Which may not happen, I don't know. So Ismail in chat asked if we could recreate the Webflow thingy right here, because it's an interesting carousel overall, right? This thing is pretty interesting. It's a very simple thing to do, and so I'm thinking maybe like we could do that in Figma, because they asked if it was possible to do in Figma. So we are trying to do that in Figma. That's how things work. So these frames, made a mistake, right? I think the content needs to be this as a frame, and this as a frame, and then these two needs to be vertical. That needs to fill container. That text layer needs to fill container, and then these and these. That feels better already. This makes sense, and then we have a button with. Can I do that? I don't think I can. And we have in the foundation. I don't think. Yeah. Base button. That base button is link gray without an icon on the left side. The icon on the left is supposed to be an arrow pointing up. This one. Right there. Okay. And so these two things needs to be on 20 frames. This thing as well. So that's expand. This is probably something like 4 in between, or 8. And that needs to fill the container. Everything inside needs to fill the container as well. And we have 48 padding on the left side, right, to align with the text. And yeah, that's it. We have more space, to be honest. We should have a bit more space with the bottom section. So let's put that at 24, just to have a bit more element thingy. And then I don't see the point, Aiden, of a .so, because I mean it doesn't mean anything on the, for now at least. So maybe it could be useful, but for now the .so doesn't mean anything. Like I don't know what it's related to, right? A .it or .io is currently more recognized as compared to a .so. A .com will always be better, and for me as a designer, a .design makes a lot of sense. But a .so is difficult to remember, because it's not known. Like even now, when you say a .io, that you said that your website is a .io, then the person in front of you might think that it's a .co, like a .co, because they remember the O, and then they type your name with the .co and they can't find you. So I don't know. .so is a bit weird. It's way better to do a .com. For example, I know that some of the contractors that worked for the renovation of my mom's house were, like, how can I say? Yeah, they were bad. And her like email address is a .fr because French, but they didn't understand shit. So I don't know. They changed it for the .com instinctively, and it ended up not being good. So yeah. Alright, so what I'm seeing is we should have a divider at the bottom, potentially. But that seems to be like a specific thing, so let's just add, like, just manually the dividers themselves, because it's better. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, I mean, as a European person, .it would mean it's Italian, so I know that. But as an American person, .it might just mean IT, which makes sense. I mean, makes more sense at least. Let's take these. Yeah. All right. What the fuck did I say? Oh yeah, that. True. True. Alright, so you have this, you get a fill, which is white, and then you get that with open, and you make sure that this is tagged first on top. Right, it's not, the shadow is. Isn't that a bit expensive? £65 per year? That sounds expensive. At least to me. At least to me. So let's do that. I know, everything is the same content. I'm just lazy. It's not true. Alright, so can I achieve this? I guess I can. So let's do a while hovering, smart animate is in and out, that's good. If I do an on click, I don't know if that's an option, but let's do that. And then here we have, if I click here, I go there, if I click here, I go there, if I click here, I go here. And so that's one of the spaghettis types thingy, where you basically need to have all the points set up in order for this to potentially close back every time that you have a click. So it's a bit annoying to create, but overall the result is good, so can't really complain, right? It gives us these types of thing. So let's do a 1440 by 1000. That way we have this placed here, there, and let's do a field which is white. Let's move that here a tad. Let's see, does that work? That is zoomed in. Let's zoom out. So we have the effect on hover and on click. We have these. The only thing that is a bit annoying is the shadow thing that just doesn't really work because it's Figma. But overall, right? Very similar. I also think that it has a better transition than the Webflow one. The reason behind this is because the content is the same, right? This one is one line of text, this one is one line of text, this one is 2 lines of text, so they don't really have the same height. That's a bit annoying. Overall good. So the only thing that I see that is a bit annoying and not very good is the divider are a bit too strong for me. So let's see, can I select the dividers in here? Ah, fuck off. So let's go one lighter, and the shadows themselves might benefits from being bigger compared to the overall official thing on Webflow. So the thing that I like, right, is because we have the content in an opacity at 0, basically, when it's hidden, the text inside, it's basically fading in rather than just popping in, right here. It doesn't have any fade, or if there is a fade, it's too fast, so you don't see the transition. Also, there is the fucking thing on the side that just move, so that's different. But yeah, didn't you already have this one? I thought you already had this. But yeah, no, it's an option. Yeah, that's a better price. That is a better price overall, for sure. So let's see. Just let's fine. Should I do that? I shouldn't, right? I should do that rather. One second. How much are you paying for the .me? Are you paying anything? It's the card. The next one is the user. Just trying to get something that is close-ish to what the official original thing is. And the last is the lightning or flash. I have like another lightning. Yeah, it's a better lightning. The first one isn't presentation anyways, so let's change that as well. Shit. The first one is database, DB, they use, and so we have we have this. Can I do that? No, I can't. Can I do that and that? Yes, I can. That's neat. This is create content-driven design, which is exactly what is written. I'm a dumbass. Sorry. This is launch custom e-commerce stores. Damn it, that's a long ass thing. Why is e-commerce? Oh, because I added the S? I don't know, feels weird. Third is monetize. I know I'm far away. Members only. Content. I can't type for shit. What do you mean? Monetize? I can't type. Monetize. What? Oh, fine. That would have been way better. Much faster and make it pop. That was Panto yesterday. Make it pop. Okay. So we now have. Oh, damn it. We now have. I guess a good looking thing with different titles, and they can open. They all have the same text in the center, but yeah, that's pretty clean. That's pretty clean overall, and you can go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, but you can also go from 4 to 2 to 3 to 1, and that doesn't make anything break, which I pretty much like. I like that. I don't like the shadow though. That's a no. I don't like the shadow. I also don't like the fact that this is fucking square. I would, as myself, have a tad bit of radius just in case. Just in case. But the thing that I don't like about this is this right here. We have the dividers that have not the same width. So it might potentially have to get a bit more dividery, more space around, right, to avoid some of the transition that we have. I feel like that's a better option. It also highlights the divider when we do this, divider that you can't fucking see on your end. Sorry about that, but yeah. So the only thing that we can't control is the shadow glitch. As you can see, when I'm switching elements, the shadow is continuing to be visible at the top, and then it goes down in its position. It's a Figma thing. I can't define the content on that. One thing that we could potentially do to avoid bleeding through is to make these clip. So if we make the card clipping content, we might have some interesting things happening. As in, the transition is now better and the content is staying inside of the card. So yeah, that's good. That's good. We still have a bit of a transition in between the highlighted and non-highlighted. It's interesting. So that's our title. I think I have some issues with the naming of content. I mean, naming of content, naming of the content across. Create some issues with the. Yeah, if you look closely, I don't know if it's visible per se in the on stream, but right now when I'm hovering the monetize right here, it's in color. However, as soon as I click, it becomes black and then it expands, and then it is right. You can see that on the top section. Has a bit of not a flash, but like it gets too black for some reason. I think it's fine. I would say it's fine. I'd say it's okay. 216 and 15 as well. Making things more compact. I think that's fine. I think that's fine. I think that's a good overall thing. I will just change that color to something a bit more muted. Muted black would make more sense. Yeah, that's better. Ta-da! That took us no time. When did Ismail said that he wanted to go to? It was 54 at 17, so we did everything in like basically 25 minutes. Pretty happy with that. Pretty happy with that. We didn't have something that changed on the side, but I would get rid of the fucking dividers, to be honest. If it was me designing things for Webflow, I would get rid of the divider. It just makes more sense. No divider. Yeah, let's rename that divider top because we can. Name this one mid. So ampersand or $sign ampersand give you the same name as before. That way you don't have to rename everything every time. It's just a habit that you can do. You can also click on the current name thingy right here and it will do the same thing. Bottom. Right. Interesting. If I do that, that's interesting. So if I change I don't think you can see shit on your end, right? Can you fucking see the dividers on stream? I don't think you can. I mean, it is subtle. But by making the divider underneath the color that's selected white, I get to basically make it disappear underneath the card, which is, if I'm not mistaken, what's happening in here. It seems that the card is like taking the divider with it, but also not exactly. This is so weird. Yeah, right. That's the issue with the screen capture. I'm sorry. Also, I just noticed something. If you look at the way that animation is working, right? Each of the card are expanding from the bottom. So if I click here, it expands from the bottom. But the split second where I am, you know what? Can I do that? I'm talking about split second stuff. Maybe I can record that shit and we have the thing, right? What do you mean? What did you do, Danny? So, right, this is weird. This right here is weird. So when we click on something, the entirety of the cards are collapsed, and then the one that we just clicked on expand from the bottom, meaning that everything move, the title itself move, and then the entirety of the thing is just sliding up. So every time that we click on something else, it's just collapse, go down, expand, which technically I think that this transition is better. Like it expands from the bottom if it has space underneath or above, but it expands from the top. I mean, it takes the amount of space available, right? That makes more sense to me. I don't know, just weird. Tiny transition animation thing. You said you tabbed out of Chrome, tab back into Figma and bang. That's okay. Figma is fine. You can always kill Figma and reopen it. You won't really lose content. While Ismail is lunch? Dinner? I forgot. That's done. Stony, do we have designs, pages, or fields? Do you have new things on your side I can look at? I see. This man just worked on the back end, right? I'm sure it's not even... Yeah, I did a video to my account. Oh! Sorry. Damn! I just saw something. That is neat. The grow of the shadow around the card. My god, that is neat. You still have an issue with the corner radius at the bottom, but damn. Damn, that's neat. There's like a split second of corner radius not being corner radiused. But do I give a shit? Yes, I do. Will I kill you for it? No, I'm okay with that. That is neat. Does it work also with tab? Yeah. Oh. This is weird though, if you have the pointer at the same time. But this is... You did good, Stony. You did amazing. I I didn't expect you to do animation on that specific thing, and the transition is great. That makes the navigation on keyboard good, and on pointer great. Good job. I'm impressed. I am impressed. You have this shit that I don't understand why it. I mean, I do, but it's the same thing here. The only thing that I would say on these carousels is, ooh, that is new, sorry. Interesting. That doesn't do anything. Yet. Good. Yeah, no, the only thing that I would say that I said before is this thing. I wish that I could either use the sideways scroll to slide through the carousel, or use the sideways trackpad scroll to do that. How do I do that, Stony? Because I would love to help for that thing. I mean, on trackpad is just slide horizontally, so I don't really know what that is. Can I fetch that in a way? What are the things that you want to look at? I'm trying. I can't. It doesn't do anything. Like if I navigate like this, it's a scroll wheel. It's just an horizontal scroll wheel, so it doesn't. Like I can't even with the with that, right? I need to be able to do this when I'm hovering a thing. Yeah, because it cannot log anything. Or is it me? I forgot to do something as whatever right here. I don't know. You tell me. I mean, the console doesn't even do anything for on click, so I don't know if there is something that should happen. Neptune, hi. Welcome on in. How are you? I'm good. Good, tired. Yeah, so the arrows are still logged in a way. Oh, interesting. But not the scrolls. That is very interesting. Okay. And I'm guessing that if you do overflow, yeah, but these are my keyboard, like keyboard presses of arrows, so that makes sense. But it's just the scroll don't do shit. At least it doesn't seem to be. They don't. Not on scroll, that's the thing. Didn't have any fucking thing logged in there on doing things right now. You can't see that. Could be also nice to have a drag and drop, but that's right. It's weird that even on click there is nothing that happens. I don't think it's a good idea, to be honest. Because you have your carousels, which is this section, right? And you have your overflow. What is the default? Is default the thing? No, not default. True. Auto, thank you. Yeah, if I have auto, then I get the option. It probably fucks with your ability to define how much I have already scrolled, and also it adds this scroll bar at the bottom that is not exactly what we want to have, but that way I can easily just slide in. Would you have the ability to have this with the custom scroll bar disabled? Is that a thing? Can you do that? Mariano, hi. Welcome on in. How are you? How was your day? Yeah, scroll bar width of 0. How do I define that? Is scroll bar width like a thing that I don't know? I'm good. I'm tired. We had some news that I don't know if I can trust yet. I've received my new phone case that I haven't placed on my phone yet, so I'm happy with that. I'm not happy with the fact that it has like ridges on the side, which you absolutely can't see. But I'm not really happy with that. It's a grip thing. I didn't check, to be honest, but I like the wood. Wood is cool. Wood is cool. Yeah, exactly like this, Sony. No, not like this. Yeah, like this. Yeah, I think that's. I mean, question, right? Question. What do you think of this as a feature, right? You can still have the thing, and well, it doesn't seem to do what we want to have if you click on the buttons, but right. That might fuck up your stuff. and only work if you don't scroll, because I think if I scroll and then I tap, I'm happy you can't see what I can see. Right, I feel like if I do that, I do this, I can't do that. I need to be here to be able to scroll. That's interesting. I don't know why that happens though. Not that it make any difference, but I mean, I do understand what it's happening. Because your carousel is just the full width overall, and then you slide it manually with the buttons. If it's too much work, so you get rid of the mouse scroll, which I think it's a good option, but I would understand why it would be annoying. But I think the behavior is your buttons are displacing the content div and not the content, and not the div content. So that's why it's moving things around. But I don't know if you can easily fix that without like going back to the carousel thing and changing how the left and right arrows are behaving on top of everything. In which case, if that's like, if you need to go back to the carousel and change things, just get rid of the overflow auto and go get it back to hidden, and that would be enough. That would be enough. I know that it's too much work. Alrighty. Have the overflow on hover. Yeah, but it's not. I mean, you have. I don't know how other platforms do it though. If I remember correctly, Netflix doesn't even allow me to do it. So if that's a positive thing for you, I know they do. They do, but what they do is they trigger the. Basically, is if scroll start, they switch pages immediately, so they don't allow me to do more than one scroll at a time, and it's not as free as what you have here. So basically, if the overflow is detected in one direction, then it basically clicks on the button for me. I get it. So, as I said, disable the overflow, and potentially, if you have time, you can go over that potential improvement. I wouldn't say that it's the most needed thing, but yeah, can be useful. Can be useful. And yeah, nah. I was about to say something, but that makes no sense. I mean, I don't think that makes any sense. It's more true. I always had an issue with the button placements, the two arrows being so far away from where you arrive, and so that's why I always try to get the scroll, the horizontal scroll, to just trigger something, so that I can scroll through directly rather than having to click on something. But if you put it here, it makes no sense if you have like a title that is longer, meaning that they wouldn't be in the same place every time. So I like that placement here. I also like what Netflix has done with the buttons on top of the entire carousel, but also that makes no sense for what we have here. Right? It's just, it doesn't help. So I don't know. I do not know. I don't think it's a good idea either to put them on the side, just because when you are here, right, you're at the end and you want to scroll through the carousel and then you want to go back, and so you are just close to it rather than having to go to the other side. So that makes more sense to me to have them close together. But it makes no sense to me to have them far away from the start, because your pointer is usually around here. It could be a thing either above or underneath the sections. I would say potentially underneath in the center. What do you mean? How did I break the reverse? As in here? Oh, you mean this? It does. It works. It's fine. I think it's just because it has the I mean, something doesn't work. It seems. Something disappeared. I don't know what happened. I don't know what I've been changed. Did you change something? Like it doesn't behave as just before. Sorry if I broke something again. My bad. My bad. Oh, that's better. Now we have everything. That's interesting. What did you change? Okay, now it's good. Just have the page overflow. I don't know what happened though. Oh, it's on over. What did I say? I say if it's too much, do not work on it. Just reverts. Just do some Control Z's. It should be fine. And I hope. Okay, now it's working again. Good. Yeah, I don't know. Right? Why am I so dead? Why am I so dead? I don't know. I can, probably. If I can find... I opened too many fucking files today. Neat. I like it. How did you get it in SVG form? Did you recreate it? Oh, wait. No, I gave it somewhere, right? You recreated it? Really? It seems very... misaligned for something that you recreated. Why not? You'll probably hate me if you spend sometimes. Why not go on my community profile and download this, because it has the logo used immediately. Right? You have access to it. I know, it's not like the most straightforward thing. It's the only place where it is available, to be honest, so I get it. But I like the cards. I like what you did with it. I still think that the original one is brighter in terms of... yeah, Isma, yes, I was waiting for you to come back. I was waiting for you to come back. So, I know I can modify it, but I don't...
Christian Both is now following.
Christian Both? Welcome on in. Thanks a lot for the follow. How are you? Who are you? How did you find the stream? All that. Thanks again for the follow. We appreciate it. And I think there is like more vibrancy needed, as in the inner glow outline thingy, right? Your colors right here could potentially be brighter, closer to more vibrant points to get something like a bit more.
Sunday Ceramics raided my stream with 8 viewers.
Sunday Ceramic. I don't know you. Welcome on in. Thanks a lot for the raid. Max, did you bring the raid here? I appreciate it. Welcome on in. How are you? Who are you? What do you do? I believe you are doing ceramics. That makes sense with your name. But but welcome on in. I like the emotes. I like the cats. That makes sense. What do you do on stream? I want to know. How was your stream? If it's late for you, remember, you don't need to stay. You need to drink, you need to eat, do that. But if you can stay a bit, I would love to know about you. But for anyone who doesn't know me, I'm AOAMD Helping Designer. If you have a design question, feel free to ask. I will help. I am tired right now. Thanks a lot for the
Ceramics is now following.
Drink and the follow. We do design stuff in here. We do a lot of OBS things, as we can probably guess. We have a lot of shit that happens on this stream with OBS and stream overlays. These are our base. So yeah, currently working on some Figma things. Figma is a design software, and also fighting the sleepies. Heavily fighting the sleepies. So we'll see. You have returned. Welcome back. Welcome back. Yeah, and also we do new stream overlay every month, so that keeps me to the edge of trying to make the best thing from one overlay to the next month and not having the same IDs reused too much. That's a fun challenge for me. It takes a lot of my time, to be honest, right? To
Hermes is now following
these things. Every time that I have to do a new overlay, I need to think about all the things that goes in it, and that takes time. But we love them anyways, so it's the challenge. We like the challenge. How should I pronounce your name? Rehermes or Rehermes? Welcome on in. Thanks a lot for the follow. I appreciate it as well. I am blessed. 8 followers today. That is neat. We don't need subs in here. I mean, I appreciate the subs, but I don't give a shit about the subs. I don't need the money, but the followers are cool. So 8 followers today. I'm happy with this. Really happy with it. Don't worry if you have a sub. I still love you. And we have ads, a lot of ads. Sorry. Way too much ads, I know. Right, Kane, I think that's a better option. What I've done. But yeah, Rehermes, it is difficult for me as a French person. The H doesn't exist for us. it's not a letter that we know. So sometimes Hermes is difficult. Right, but you're welcome on it. Thanks a lot for chatting. I appreciate it. Exactly. I was about to do something. Yes, this. Ismail, are you lurking? Are you here lurking? This is the Webflow component thingy that you talked about earlier. So basically, that's what we came up with, right? Very close to the Webflow thing, not identical. We have some differences which I think makes it better than the Webflow one, mainly in the transition itself being a bit more smooth overall. But also I have rounded corners because I am OCD again. But to have the main animation, right? The main animation is based on these component variant right here, or variant group components, where you have the default hover and then on click it opens. Everything is visible or in all of the instances, but on the first two it's hidden, and then that's it. That works. However, if you just had the same component 4 times, when you will click on one, it will just I think I forgot to do that, right? No, I did. If I do this and I do what, and I do not what I just did. 1 second. If I do this and this and this and play. If I do that, if I click, it opens one, but then it opens the other one, and the other one don't close or close back. So the reason why you need that secondary component is to automatically collapse the rest. So in order to achieve this, you just create your stack of potential opening things with the content, they need to have to all have the exact same height in the end component itself. And then you select all the things, you create all the noodles that goes from one point to the other to make sure that it works. And when you have this, as soon as you place it inside of a frame and that the frame is well made, well, it does the animation for you. So that's basically it. It's very simple as a component itself. It's very simple, but it works. The only thing that I can't do, and you will probably won't be able to do that easily, is to have that changing the image or the video or the GIF that you have in your prototype right there. That would be a bit annoying. And it's like, I mean, you could, if you have the image on the side of the original component, you may be able to do so. You know what? Let's try. Let's try. I don't know exactly how I can achieve this, but anyways, let's see. So if I do this and what did I say? If I do this and I place it in absolute, let's make it center, let's make it here. Let's place that, sorry, that's a lot of tabs. Okay, so if I do that, and then I just place things, right? Let's see. That's our components. And let's unsplash just to give them different abstract images. Right, so this one can go away and we can move to this. And then this one can move away and we can move to this. And the last one can go away and we can move to this. Let's hope, let's see. Maybe it's trash, maybe it works. It works, damn it. Sometimes I'm good. Yep, that's an option. Ah, shit. So the thing that I did is I created an element that has a fixed absolute positioning. So in any auto layout, you can now have absolute positioning on some elements of your stack, meaning that I now have the ability to get something that is linked to a component outside of its original frame, and because they all have the exact same name, which I don't know right now, I can call them like a pick or whatever, and I change their content based on the underlying component. The thing that I need to do for this is, rather than having like an horizontal thing, I want it to be vertical, and I need to have somewhere like 1080, or I mean that's a lot. I need this basically, so that you can see. So this one contains this, but it's positioned on its left. This one contains the same thing, but with another. Have a good look, Max. Thanks a lot for the look, I appreciate it. Right, so you switch things easily, and so in here that means that if you swap things out, it just goes to the image that is supposed to go to. I think it's pretty clean. I like that. I like that a lot. Thanks a lot for the for the ID and sending me to the Webflow page, because it looks cool, it's neat, and it works. What do you mean, can you transition animation to the image? As in sliding up or sliding down? I don't think I can. I wouldn't be able to. I mean, I can. Do you want to have it? I can show you how to do it. Do you want to check it out? We can do it. It's an option. It's an option. We can do it. You tell me. It's the same behavior. It's just oh, it's not. It's not hard at all. That's the thing. So, right, you get these, you displace them, which right now took multiples. I don't know why this things. Sorry. Why though? Why do you take this? What the fuck? Sorry, that's... What? Okay, good. My god. So you take these images and you make sure that they have 0 in between everything. You create... you get the images that you need, right? That's the main point. You create a frame around it, so Command Option J to create a frame around everything. You make sure that the frame is taking the right amount of space for one image. You make it clip, and so let's call that pictures. That way we have the right thing. And then in here, rather than having that section there, I will just go in and create that same element. So this is like a -779 and -158. So -779 and -158. That way this frame basically is inside of my elements, my base element, and so now I can just take that frame that we just created, place it in the same exact position. However, what needs to happen is in our content we need to do the transition manually, right? To make sure that we have the thing that we need. I think I'm making a mistake with doing it from so far away. Did I make a mistake? May have. No, I'm good. I'm good. And then this one is the last one. So you get this, and so now we might need to restart the prototype. But with this, I will let it load the pictures, technically, if I do that, I have the transition as well on the side. So it has this bit of a transition. However, the annoying point is you will go through this one when we click here, right? So it goes faster to get to the point in which you need to see the right picture. So it's a bit annoying from some things, but if you are just following in the presentation, right, like you're showcasing how it works, and doing this makes sense. As soon as you do that, just take 2 images for one. So sometimes not as good. Anyways, that's good. That's working. And so right now, what we did was a vertical swap. You can easily get an horizontal swap instead. If that was like a thing that you wanted, you could easily swap that. So right now, all of the images inside are stacked vertically. If you define that they should be stacked horizontally, you should have the same effect. So right here, let's say stacking them horizontally. Let's do this. Right, that's the behavior. So same thing here. I think horizontal will be interesting, to be honest. It has, I mean, in my head, it has like an interesting thing. Shit. It will be weird, but I think that's what I will like about the transition, right? Because one side is vertical and the other side is horizontal, just because it's weird. So there is like a dissonance in between the two. So I think it's fun, or interesting at least. But yeah, that's basically it. It's a very, as I said, it's very simple. It's just defining your component properly, your component variants properly with all the states in which it needs to go. Makes just that pretty easy. Yeah, I like that. Happy to help. Happy to help. But yeah, very simple. But thanks a lot for sharing the Webflow thing, because I mean, as I said earlier, right? I can't access Webflow thing. I mean, I did just log me in every time, so I never see the update of the landing page and all that. So I know that they are working on the redesign of the interface inside, which is good. I'm waiting for it to happen. But yeah, that is good. That is good. They have a technical name, yes. What the fuck is the name? They have a name. They have a name for sure. I know that we have some of them in the templates, because we have like these things, right? Yeah, they called it a container just to fuck with me. They say tabs. Why? I don't know. Interesting. Yeah, they call it tabs. It's not a drawer. So a drawer is something that will come from the side and go over the content. That's a drawer. This is more of it's a tabs section. That's true. Like, it works as tabs. You enable one tab and then you see specific content. So it's a tab navigation. But for features on a landing page, right? These things very much the same thing. You click on one, you have an image. You click on the other, you have another one. Same ID. So yeah, tabs mockups. From what they called it, it seems to be one of the most accurate thing, I would say. F-tabs, yeah. But in my head it had like another name. Specifically on this one, with the images going sideways, I would call them tabs carousels, because you click on something and then you define another block. But I mean, you see another image. That's more of the thing that I was about to say. Maybe Relium have. I think if you are with Webflow, I will always recommend this thing. Relium is giving you pre-made blocks for Webflow with like a lot of... Oh, sorry. I think I sent you the wrong link. It's library.relium. I mean, it's in there as well, but in the library thing, you get access to components pre-made, and a lot of them are just very good. So, and some of them also have styled elements. Can I find the fucking components, please? In my site, it's called feature section. Most of the time, I'm trying to see if they have one that is similar and that they call the same way as tabs. I think that could be one, potentially. But yeah, no, I love Relium. I will push my dev team to use it on the next iteration of our landing page, because it will give us more flexibility compared to what we have today. So, really recommend it. Yeah, I think that's a similar thing. Just don't know how it works yet. Yeah, no, Relium is cool. Relium is absolutely cool. You know what? Bitch ass multi-ad dev. That's cool. I am sending you one we talked about earlier. Because I'm tired and I need to do a lot of shit. So soon, it's been 4 hours for me. It's a long time for streaming. I need to work tomorrow, right? Ismail, if you want to stay for the raid, you get points. You can make me do shit later. If you don't want to, have a good rest of your day or night. Why did I click on this? Why did I click on this? Anyways, so if you enjoyed the stream, please, I mean, if you're still here and you're watching, you probably enjoyed, click the follow button, please. I mean, follow button on desktop, follow button on mobile, so that we have this that moves. Anyways, if you are a sub, this is the raid message for subs. If you are not a sub, this is a raid message for non-sub. Please copy and paste it to Just Make Trash, because I know he likes the eye thingy. Anyways, I hope you have a good rest of your day. I will be back officially tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. UTC. We will do what we do tomorrow. Maybe some blend thing, maybe something else. I have no fucking clue. And yeah, take care of yourself. Drink something, eat something, all that. I will see you soon. Bye.